All right. So this is part two of what if Deku was a hero. My freaking file got corrupted. The one that I was recording on, it got corrupted. It was so good too. So basically after the battle, we're gonna say Deku. I'm gonna just skip everything. Basically Deku, he go to class, and he sees Shia is sitting on his lap, and basically All Might. I already had everything planned out too. It was so good, man. Basically All Might basically says, he walks in there. He be like, he says, you can't, he says, Midoriya. And Izuku, he sleep right now. He says, Midoriya, you can't, you, like another student can be sitting on you. And Izuku, he sleep, and she says, oh, okay. And she says, what is a filthy beast man doing in this class anyway? And he says, get out of here. And what the? Oh, he's about to, he's about to leave. I mean, she is about to leave. I really don't know if I introduced you, but that's Izuku's girlfriend. She a beast. She's a woman, a beast woman in their eyes, though. But in his eyes, she's just a woman. And basically, my boy Izuku, he basically, she's about to get up, and he grabs her arm and he puts her back down on his lap. And Izuku, and All Might say, didn't I tell you to get out? And Izuku, he awake. He sets her down. He throws in the. Hold on, I'll be right back. I need to see what's the fastest second. Never mind, it's a nanosecond. So basically, he zooms, sets her down in a nanosecond. He goes to All Might's face. He has his gun pointed to his wound, and he says, "Set it again." And basically, All Might, he shot her real fast, and he says, "Yeah, that's what I thought, coward." And Izuku says, "You should have respect for me." And he said, "What are you doing with that filthy beast man in my classroom?" And she looks down, and basically everyone's looking at her. And basically, while everybody looking at her, he said, Deku, he turns around, and he goes to Shia, and he be like, you're not a, or he don't do that. No, that doesn't make sense. Basically, Deku, he gets mad, and his bloodlust and his killer instinct, they start rising. They started destroying part of the classroom. And basically, my boy Izuku, he going ham on All Might. All Might trying to fight back, knock it straight in that wound. And he hits the wound again, turns to Small Might. And Deku, he like, you gonna die for that. He gets a dagger, and or a knife, a big kitchen knife, the one that Michael Myers be using. He get that thing, foul. Start cutting my boy All Might. Not even my boy. He start cutting All Might up. And then after he be cutting All Might up, basically what he do is and if I stop talking for a second, I'm just focused on something else. Basically what he do is he just going ham on him. And my boy, she goes up to Izuku, like far enough where she won't get hurt for his killer instinct and bloodlust. And he's like, we'll say Aizawa, Principal Nezu, he sends Aizawa down there. And basically Aizawa says, okay. And he goes down there, and my boy walks in that classroom, and he sees Shia trying to calm my boy Izuku down, and he's like, dang, what happened? And then he says, no, I can't let this happen. He goes to whatchamacallit, and he says, Izuku, calm down. And Shia says, I'll handle this. And he says, no, you can't handle this. And basically, Izuku's going ham, and Shia runs up and hugs him from behind. And he says, She says, calm down, Izu. And basically, my boy Izuku, he stops for a second. And she says, see, it worked. And then he started going back calm. And he's enjoying this because, like, he's tired of all my stuff. And basically, instead of a hero, he could be like more like a vigilante hero. And basically, he like Batman. He go work from the dark, but nobody gonna know. Like, nobody gonna be able to see him. He would move in nanoseconds. Like I said, he moved in nanoseconds. And basically, my boy Izuku, he basically goes to, she hugs him tighter, and he stops. He says, he drops the knife, and he gets on his knees, and he says, I'm sorry, Shia. And Aizawa, I'm gonna say it was dust in the room, and Aizawa, he sees All Might's body, and he looks at Izuku, and basically Izuku, I'm gonna say he low on stamina. He a little bit low on stamina, a lot low on stamina, cause he went hell. And he turns around, he hugs Shia, and basically when he hugged her, basically Aizawa, he like, oh. Okay, Aizawa, he basically Aizawa, he basically, like, I'm gonna say he basically just, I don't know. Oh, no, he basically wraps, he kicks Shia out the way, and he wraps Deku and wraps him in that scar. And Izuku, since he's low on stamina, he would easily be able to break out of that, but he's low on stamina, he tries to move, and he said, and he don't move, and he sees, my boy, when he sees, Shia, when he sees Shia basically get kicked, my boy goes to Super Saiyan, my boy goes to Super Saiyan God. Triple SS, not on SS, triple SS, times 2. But he's low on stamina, like I said, so it really, Aizawa, he just drops him in a scarf and he starts suffocating Deku and he passes out. And I'm gonna say she get beat up by the class and says, yeah, your boyfriend just killed all right. And they start beating on her. And Izuku, he's getting furious and furious. And he says, let me go. And my boy, he tries so hard to break out of it and help Shia. And he's crying. He's crying and crying. And he says, Shia, no. And basically, she's getting beat. I'm going to say, like Naruto usually get beat, but 10 times worse. But since she has that bone manipulation, she just keeps using her quirk to heal her bones because they get broken, fractured, cracked, everything shattered. I don't shattered, you know what I mean. Basically, but her outside, her skin, it hurts. It hurts like profanity part. It hurts like hell, bro. Like she's in pain. And basically, my boy Izuku, he gets passed out, and Aizawa says, that's what you get, you filthy brat. And I'm gonna say, Shia says, let him go. And they say, shut up, you filthy beast. And they kick her. Bakugo kicks her. And he like, Bakugo kicks her and basically, Bakugo kicks her and he's basically like, he basically is like, he kicks her, he says, shut up, what did I tell you? And Izuku, my boy, he's like, I can't do anything. And basically, my boy Izuku, right here, he loses his emotions. He's gonna be a cold. He loses his emotions. And basically, I'm gonna say they send him. Bro, get off there. I'm gonna say they basically send Izuku to the bottom of the ocean in the titanium pit. Or whatever the strongest metal is on Earth. Or in DC Marvel Universe. They send him into that. And basically after they send him, they like lock him. He has a chain on his waist, a chain on his legs, ankles, arms, neck, and they are strapped to the wall. And if he moves, like if he tries to budge too much, like tries to break out, it'll activate a piston, and basically when it activates the piston, when it activates the piston, it's gonna be like a titanium and water, like all crushing him, and basically with the titanium and water, it crushes him and kills him. Cause my boy, he's getting beat every day by Aizawa. He's not gonna survive that. So yeah, he's like, my boy, he's in pain. And basically, my boy Izuku, he tries to move and the thing it shivers. And he's like, dang, I can't move. And basically, basically, after he says I can't move, my boy Izuku, we'll say she was already on her way down there, and it took her like 8 months to get to the bottom of the ocean. Nah, 3 years to get to the bottom of the ocean. 8 months, I feel like that's because nobody knows how deep the ocean is. It took her like 8 months to get to the bottom of the ocean, and basically, when she gets there, she sees something. She sees something like a square, and she says, "Izuku, is that you?" And while she's like in the thing, she says, "Izuku's in the submarine." She says, "Izuku, is that you?" Or she doesn't say, "Izuku, is that you?" She says, "Izuku," and basically, oh god, so many people. Oh, kill him. Okay, sorry. Basically, my boy Izuku. Ooh, that was nice. Basically, my boy Izuku. Oh, sorry. Basically, my boy Izuku. What the? Did I die? What? Oh my god. Sorry. My boy Izuku. He basically, he's emotionless and he's cold, and he's losing his sanity, and the only thing that's keeping him from losing his sanity, he's slowly losing it. And I'm gonna say we do a 15-minute or an hour time skip, and she finally gets into. Oh my god. Okay. She finally gets into the vault because she been cutting it, or she been looking around for the hatch. Basically, she finally get into it, and she sees Izuku chained up to a wall with all the chains on him, like I said. And she says, he beats her in the glass, and he says, "You're touching me again, huh?" And he says, "I just want to see Shia. Please, just let me out of here." And basically, he says, please, let me out of here. And we see my boy Izuku, he's like suffering from malnutrition, or I don't know if that's a disease, or if you don't eat enough. Basically, my boy Izuku, they feed him. I'm gonna say they feed him. It tastes horrible, but it's nutrients to keep him alive. That's the only thing they think of. They don't even feed my boy water. He's dehydrated. He coughs. Can I get some water? And she says, "What'd you say?" And he says, "Can I get some water?" And basically, he hasn't drunk in 3 years. The only thing that's keeping him alive is him thinking about Shia and basically that lizard quirk or the lizard magic quirk magic, whatever you want to call it, man. Basically the lizard thing, and basically after she does the lizard thing, like he heals, and he says, "Can I have some water?" And basically they say, "No, why'd you use that?" He thinks that he's about to get screamed at for using his quirk, and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't want to get beaten again." And they've been torturing my boy for like 3 years, and she opens the latch and she says, "Izuku, it's me." And he looks up and he says, "No, you're just a memory." He says, "Go ahead and beat me already." And she hugs him and she hugs him and she says, "It's really me, Izu." And I'm gonna say, if you ever watch Call of Duty, if you ever play Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and Mason, how you get them numbers in his head, basically, that's basically what happens to Izuku, but pick, like, memories of Shia. He's like, ah! And I'm gonna say, he gets so cold, she says, "Can you move my chains?" And basically, she says, "Yeah," and, she basically goes, and he tells her where the switch is, and he goes, and he says, after she goes to get the switch, or press the switch, basically, my boy Izuku, he sees, oh my god, I thought the recording stopped. He sees his chain is released, and he grabs his wrist. He tries to stand up, he falls on the floor, and he says, "I think I lost the ability to walk." As he smiles, he don't smile. I'm gonna say he lost it because he lost his emotion. So basically, I'm gonna say he didn't lose his emotions, but the only emotion he feels is hatred, and I'm probably thinking, how the freak is he gonna be a hero if he only feel hatred? I'm gonna get there. But basically, my boy, what is this? Oh my god. Okay, so basically, that's so overpowered. Basically, my boy Izuku, he gets the, sorry, I'm playing Spellbreak right now. Basically, Izuku, oh my god. Okay, sorry. Izuku, he only feel hatred and pain and suffering. And basically, she picks him up and she says, "I'm here, Izuku." And basically, he says, he don't say nothing. And he says, he don't say nothing. And then they get to I'm gonna say an hour time skip. And they get to the little, whatchamacallit thing, the submarine. They get to the submarine, and she's like, "Izuku, what did they do to you?" I'm gonna say, he got in a bit rude, and he says, can't, profanity part, he says, "Can't you fucking tell what they did to me? Huh?" And he's not to his shit. He stops and he hugs her. He says, "I'm sorry for yelling." And basically, she says, "No, it's fine." And basically, I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, my boy Izuku, he's mad, and basically he says, "I'm gonna kill them all." As he gets a girl in the face, and she says, "No, that's the thing that got you here in the first place." And he says, "Yeah, you're right." And he says, "Yeah." He stutters and he says, "Yeah, you're right." And basically, she like his lifesaver. And she said, and he gets closer to her and he says, "I can't love you anymore." And she says, you're breaking up with me? And my boy says, nah, I'm not. I just lost some emotion too. As he looks down. And basically, my boy, my girl, she says, it's fine. And she looks down and she grabs her stomach. Like, she gets, I don't know, she grabs her stomach. Like, not in a bad way or a good way. She just grabs it. And, like, she's like, she just grabs it. And if some of you anime fans know what I'm talking about, girls, like they squirm around, basically that's what she do. And basically, and he says, even if I did lose the emotion to love you, that I still love you. And she says, how does that make sense? And Deku chuckles. He says, it just does. He says, it just does. And she smiles and says, thank you, Izu. She says, thank you, Izuku. And basically, there's no problem, Shia. And my boy Izuku. Wait, what is it? Okay. My boy Izuku, he says, do you have anything to eat? And she says, oh yeah. And she gives him his favorite food. And he's like, this is my favorite. And she says, I know, that's why I got it for you. And he says, thank you. And basically, oh no! Oh my god, I almost fell into the void. And basically, he says, thank you. And basically, he says, thank you. And she basically says, no problem, Izuku. And he says, I haven't heard your voice in so long, I forgot. He says, I haven't heard your voice in so long. And basically, my boy Izuku, he gets fit and he takes a shower. I'm gonna say teleportate. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Basically, my boy Izuku, he gets in the shower and he just sits there. He sits there for like an hour. And she says, should I go check up on him? She said, should I check on him? He's been in the shower for over an hour. And she says, no, he just needs space. And she looks down and says, what if he doesn't? What if he don't? And she hesitates and she goes, I'm gonna say my boy Izuku my boy Izuku, he says, while he's in the shower, I'm gonna say, he's crying. And he says, he's like, why did this have to happen to me? And basically, she starts crying. She starts tearing up. And Deco, he starts punching. I'm gonna say he creeped a knife. And he started, oh yeah, 18 plus part. And all my 18 pluses, they're not gonna be about sex. Tell you freaks out there. Oh, basically my boy, what is it? Okay, basically my boy Izuku, he gets a knife and he says, he don't say nothing, and he just starts, not his wrist, but his hands, he starts, like, stabbing deep, goes through his hands. And basically, Izuku, he's like, I can't even love the one that I loved before. And he starts stabbing. Oh my god, I need to go. Why did I? Oh, sorry. He says, I can't even love Shia anymore. And he stabs deeper. And still, she hears like gushing. And she says, what is that? And he says, and basically, she doesn't know what this is. And she doesn't know what the gushing is. And she walks in there and she sees Izuku stabbing, like literally stabbing himself. And she says, Izuku, what are you doing? And he hurry up and like stops the knife, and he's still doing me. as he hides his hand behind his back and smiles at her. And I heard gushing, and he says, basically he says, what do you mean? I wasn't doing anything. And he smiles at her, and she sees blood in the tub, and she says, yes, you were, and she says, yes, you were, Izuku. Don't lie to me. And my boy Izuku, he says, I promise you, shit, I wasn't doing anything. And she says, yes, you were. You usually don't talk this softly. And basically, my boy Izuku, he says, after all these years, he still remember how to talk. And she says, yeah. And so she says, what were you doing, Izuku? And he says, nothing. As he looked down, and he says, you can get out now. And basically, Shia says, that was if that's what you want from. And she gets out, and he starts crying again. Okay, he starts crying again, and he's like, why? Why can't I love her anymore? And he said, it's because of those bastards. And basically, she knows what my boy's doing, so she kick open the door, and she runs to the shower. And she like, I knew it. And she says, Izuku, why are you doing this to yourself? And he's like, he's like, he doesn't say anything. And she says, Izuku, speak to me. And she's crying. She's crying. And basically, she's crying hard. She's hugging him. And she says, Izuku, don't do this anymore. Basically, my boy Izuku, he can't stop. So he like, still, I'm dead. I'm dead. Teleport. Sorry. My boy Izuku, he gets off and he says, that's sorry. And he says, bro, I'm gonna die. No teleportation. And sorry. My boy Izuku, he gets up and he be like, he's like, I can't do it anymore. And he shoves him off him. He shoves Shia off of him, and basically after he shoves her, he shoves. Oh, sorry, he shoves her off of him, and oh my god, I'm gonna die. Teleportation. Sorry. No! And basically, he shoves it off him, and he slits his neck, and basically, the lizard quick kills him, like, under, 15 minutes. She thinks he's dead, and she says, she lays her head on his chest, and she says, why'd you have to leave me? Oh my god, that was so clutch. And basically, Izuku, he's in a coma. He's in a coma. And basically, no! Sorry, basically, Izuku, he's in a coma. And he hears Shia, and he starts crying. And basically, he starts crying. And you have to keep using that wolf thing. He starts crying, and after he starts crying, she says, my Izuku. And she says, I lost you again. And he starts crying, and she feels the tears coming out his eyes. And she says, wait, what is this? And she says, he's in a coma. She says, you're in a coma, aren't you? And I'm going to say, he can still, he can only hear. He can only hear. And basically, my boy Izuku, after he says, you can only hear, basically he says, he doesn't say anything. He's like, I can only hear, I can't move my lips or anything, to kiss her or anything. And basically, she just starts operating the ship, and she says, well, I guess I'll let him rest. And she goes to the ship, and she tears up and says, why Izuku? Why this is all my fault? And Deku, he's like, no, it isn't shit. Just stop saying that. And basically, oh my god, that feels so good. Izuku, Izuku, we do like a 8-month time skip or 3-month time skip, 3-year time skip. She at 23, and my boy Izuku, he 23 too. And they get to the surface, and Deku, my boy Izuku, he's still in his coma. And I'm gonna say he's training with Hajime while he's in this 3-year time skip. And we see he's in his mind state, and we see this door open, like out of nowhere. And Izuku, he says, "What's that, Hajime?" He says, "Sensei, what is this?" And Hajime says, "Well, it looks like it's time for you to get out of your coma." He says, "You can leave anytime you want." And he thinks about Shia. He sees. I'm gonna say he has a nephew because Hajime and Yue had a son. He had a nephew. Hajime and Yue had a son. And Hajime says, or Izuku says, Yue's son, I'm not gonna give him a name. He's not gonna be like plot. He says, please don't leave Uncle Izuku. And he says, sorry, I gotta go, kid. I gotta get back to my girl too. And basically, he said, what, you have a girl? He said, yeah. He clapping up cheek. He says, when I get back, first thing I'm gonna do is beat him up. He says, you gonna hit your girlfriend? And Yue says, no, he's gonna do something different. And Hajime smiles and says, he sure is. And he hugs Izuku. He says, I'm gonna miss you, man. And he says, I'm gonna miss you too. And he hugs Yue, and he hugs their son. After he hugs their son, basically Izuku, he's like, after he hugs their son, Izuku basically just like, he walks through the door / portal, and so I'm gonna say Shia, she says she talked to Izuku every day, and Izuku heard, and she's like, Izuku, we made it to the surface today. And she starts crying, and she says, when are you gonna come back to me? And she starts being on his chest. He says, and she's like, wake up. And she says, she's about to leave. She says, you're not gonna wake up, are you? And she says, I have to wait longer. She says, I have to wait longer, don't I? And basically, Izuku, she leaves the room, and she goes to like turn off everything. And basically, Izuku, he wakes up, he starts breathing, and he goes to Shia. And basically, after he goes to Shia, he sees her standing in the ship, and he hugs her from behind. He says, I remember this feeling. I love you. And basically, Izuku got his emotions back. He only feels love for one person. He's not gonna let anyone else in his life ever. Momo, they stop becoming friends, but he does reconnect. But he says, I'm not sure. He says, I can't be your friend anymore. And he says, I used to love you in a friendly way, but now I'm not loving you. I can't love anyone else. I'm not putting that trust again anymore. And Kirishima, he was beating on Izuku. Shia. And he says, because all my friends that had betrayed me. And basically my boy Izuku, he gets up. That's what he said when he reconnects with Momo. That's gonna be in a little bit. Basically, he goes to Shia, and she starts crying, and she throws him on the floor. She like hugs him, and he falls down from all the pressure. And he says, Shia, I'm still hurt. And basically, she looks up at him, and we're gonna say Deku is at Shia. I mean, Shia is at like Deku's neck, and we're gonna say Deku. He's like 6. He's like 6'2". Yeah, 6'2". What 6 feet? 6. I guess it's 6. He's just 6'1". He's 6'1". And basically, Izuku. She looks up and she sees Deku's neck, and she says she tries to get rid of it by manipulating his bone, and she says I can't get rid of that scar. As she looks down, he says he says no matter. He says it doesn't matter, Shia. You don't have to get rid of it. And she says, yes, I do. I never want to think of that memory ever again. And she says she left me for 6 years. And he looks down and says, I'm sorry. And he hugs her even tighter. He says, I'm sorry, Shia. I will never ever do it again. And basically, he goes out and he picks Shia up. And he says, my boy says, let's do something that we haven't done in years. And she says, what haven't we done in years? And he picks her up. He's like, you're gonna see. And she blushes, she turns red, and he says, that's what I thought. And he takes her to the bed. 18 plus scene. 18 plus. He takes her to the bed. Basically, my boy Izuku, I'm gonna say, he lost everything, but he haven't forgot how to do it. He haven't forgot how to have that goody good. So basically, my boy Izuku, he's like, oh, this one thing I forgot. And she laughs and says, you freak. And he says, you freak. And he says, well, I won't be a freak. And he grabs that meat. He says, if you're gonna have such a good foodie. Basically, my boy Izuku, his jangle ain't get hard, and basically she says, I've been waiting for this for a long time, and basically they start kiss, what's it called? They start kiss. Oh, what is it called? Tongue kissing. It's not tongue kissing, and basically and she says. She breaks the kiss and she says, she's like, I forgot how your lips felt. And basically, she puts her finger on her lips and he moves that finger. He kisses her some more. And he's like, I forgot how. He says, I also got another thing. And he pulls down them boots. He pulls down them, that's so cool. He pulls down those, yoga pants. And he sees some red and some black. He said, I'm gonna say she's wearing his drawers. And the combustion on his drawers is like, this is like no homo, but like every guy has it. So like, when you're jangling, basically how it like pops out of your pants. Yeah. No homo. I'm only talking to my big boys out there, not my little boys. Like little boys, get on. Basically, when you're jiggling, it holds at your tent. He's like, dang, that's even more buzz than I have. And she smiles, and she says, yeah, I've been working out. I've been working. She says, I told you I've been waiting for this moment. Haven't I? And basically, he says, yeah, you have. And he, boom, he takes off his briefs and his or boxers and his shorts that she gave him like a couple years back. He still let us in clothes. Basically, she gave him that, and he put it on, and basically, when he put it on, what the? He put it on, and basically, sorry, my controller vibrated for some reason, and he's like, dang, boy sticks in it. She screamed, she moaned, very, very loud. Very, very loud. And basically, my boy Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, he's like, he just beating it up. He just like beating it up. And basically, I'm gonna say blood comes out because she haven't had it in a minute. And Izuku's. And she's like, oh, sorry. I can't say that Discord. She's like, faster. No homo. She's moaning super loud. Or no, what am I saying? No homo. She's moaning super loud. And, while she's moaning super loud, she says, faster, harder. And basically, she's moaning super loud. And basically, she's moaning, and basically my boy says he starts lip kissing her, and he starts tongue kissing her. I mean, lip kiss. And after he starts lip kissing her, he basically when he starts lip kissing her, he basically he's lip kissing, and they're like going at it, and basically my boy Izuku, he's like he don't say nothing. Oh, he don't say nothing, and basically she's like, she just moaning super loud, and basically he's like, oh yeah, and my boy Izuku, or she says, and she says it again. I'm gonna say my boy has, from the I'm gonna say he gets another, from the two-tailed wolf, one of them quick step. I'm gonna say basically he puts the quick step in his Django, and he goes super fast, and she said, I'm about to, and she already does it. But Izuku, he pulls out, and he says, oh yeah. Ooh, I must say my boy Izuku. Ooh, I must say my boy Izuku. He basically Izuku. He basically wait. Basically, my boy Izuku. What the? That's why I had skin to them. Izuku, he's like, was it Acorn? Nah, definitely. So Izuku, he's like, he's like basically, he sticks it back in. So yeah, he sticks it back in. Basically, oh my god, I didn't mean to choose him. Sorry. Oh my god. He sticks it back in, and she says again, and she says, I told you. She says again, and he says, what do you mean? And she says, I'm kinda on my on her I'm trying to find the correct word for this. And she says, I'm kind of on my time. And she says, it doesn't matter. And she said, after Izuku says it doesn't matter, she's like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? I'll get pregnant. And he says, what if that's what I want? And my boy Izuku, she smiles and she says, what if that's what I want? And basically, she's like, she says, well, you're not gonna get it. And he said, he starts going fast and basically, she's like, and she starts grinding. I mean, my boy Izuku starts grinding. Not he starts grinding, and basically Izuku, sorry. Okay, Izuku, he's basically clapping her cheeks. And basically Izuku, he's oh good. Okay, Izuku's basically pounding the cheeks. I think the Red Emperor Dragon said this. The Red Dragon Emperor said this profanity part. You know when Izuku, you know how Issei, I think Red Emperor Dragon, he was like, profanity part. He said, pound that pussy. And basically Izuku, Izuku, that's what Hajime tells him in his mind, and Yue said in Hajime's like, Dick says bet. He starts going faster, and she basically ejaculates, and basically my boy Izuku, he says already, huh? And he does it again, and he says, I really want to have a kid with you, but since you don't want to have one, and he pulls out. I'm gonna say he ejaculates over her, or all over her, and she says, she didn't say anything. Bro, my friend, my boy. Oh, my boy Izuku, he basically, bro, what is that? Oh, sorry, Izuku, he's basically okay, Izuku, he's basically, sorry I'm saying, okay, and it's the same word a lot, but he basically just, and basically a lot, he, basically Izuku, he says, since you don't want to have a kid, and he pulls out and he ejaculates out over her. And she says, no, I want one. And basically, Izuku says, huh? And she says, he says, huh? And he says, oh, really? He sticks it back in, and basically, she says, wait, I didn't mean, and basically Izuku, he's like, oh, you said you wanted one, and she said, no, and basically Izuku says, no, I'm just joking. He pulls it back out, and she says, I don't think you're ready for a kid yet, and basically Izuku, he says, I think you're right, and basically he says, I think you're right, and basically after he says that, after he says, I think you're right, she says, but I really enjoy having that time with you. And Izuku says, me too. Oh my god, bro. See? A imp killed me. Oh my god, sorry. So basically after my boy Izuku, he kisses her, and he says, he picks her up. So he blew them legs out. He blew them legs out. Oh, my laser me from nowhere. He blew a freaking parrot. He blew the legs out, and he picks her up, and he says, he don't say nothing. He just takes it to the shower, turns the water on, take a shower, and basically, I'm gonna say, she's on my boy back after they get out the shower, and while she's on my boy back, she's like, she's teasing. I'm gonna say that she's teasing, and Izuku said, he said, if you don't have a kid, stop teasing, and she stops teasing, and basically he laughs and says, yeah, that's what I thought, and he said, he's like, I really miss being with you. My boy Izuku's, or she says, yeah, me too. And what is that? Izuku, after she says that, they basically get to the surface, and we see Aizawa and come here. Let's go. We see Aizawa and and a bunch of other low class and pro heroes. Oh my god. And basically they're basically like waiting on Izuku. They're waiting on Izuku to like come up from the surface, because they know that he came up. They know he came up from the surface, and they want to kill him, or they want to put him back down there where he belongs. That's what they think. And basically, how the freak did I die? And basically, they walk out of the submarine, and Deku, he's humming, singing a good melody to his girl, Shia. And basically, oh, we have 3 acorns, me and 2 other people. So basically, Shia, she's like, your singing is horrible. And he says, yeah, I know. And he says, yeah, I know. And basically, he starts singing, and she says, oh my god. I don't know what she says after that. So I'm just, oh my god, this is, I don't know what she'll say after that. So he starts humming again. And basically Izuku, who freaking lasered me from this imp? My god. Where is, that's an acorn, okay. So basically the thing, or Aizawa, they see Izuku walk out, and they're like, you villain, stay there. And basically said Izuku, he looks down and he says, okay. And Shia says, no, Izuku, keep going. And he hesitates because I'm gonna say, all they've been being him, he learned to respect them in a tortured way. How the freak? He's hacking! He learned to respect, whatchamacallit, in a like respectful way, because he's been beaten and tortured. He don't want that to happen again, or he don't want that to happen to Shia. So he says, okay, and they say, get him. And Shia says, no, Izuku, you have to fight back. And Izuku, he says, I can't, they'll do it again. He says, I can't, they'll torture me again. And basically, she says, no, they won't, because I'm here. And Izuku, he's like, basically Izuku, he's like, God, I got laser! Izuku, he's like, okay, Shia, I'll fight back. And he fights back. Let's say he sends an impulse grenade, or I'm gonna say he creates an impulse grenade. My bad. He creates he creates an impulse grenade, and basically he basically just like impulses them back, and Aizawa tries to deactivate and squirk again and use that scarf. He says that's not gonna work this time, and basically, oh, that's so clean. I just killed him with my acid from like 3 meters away. So basically, Izuku is basically. Oh, you are! Oh my god. So basically, Izuku, he's basically pounding on them, but he's not killing them. He's just like knocking them out, and basically, he's knocking them out, and he's just gonna have, and yeah, and we see Izuku. As he's gonna have, we see Izuku. What else is Izuku doing? Nothing, really. He just says, "You're wasting my time. You're wasting space." And he says, "I should just kill you." He says, "But I'm not." And basically, he says, "But I'm not, because I'm not that person anymore." And he says, "Because I have shit." And she smiles and says, "Thank you, Izu." And they walk. I'm gonna say they like by the desert, and they walk. They walk to and he creates a whatchamacallit. He basically creates a what's it called? The Humvee, yeah. And this Humvee, it's infinite fuel, so they just go and he creates snacks on the way, and he gives them to Shia. And we're gonna say this trip takes them 3 months to get to like the city, and he says it's good to be. He don't say it feels good to be back because he hated it there because after what they did to Shia. And he says, "You're gonna go handle some business." As he said it in a demonic tone, and she says, "What are you gonna go do?" And he says, "I'm gonna go kill those people that beat you." And he says, "Izuku." She says, "Izuku is a cat." And she says, "You just be put down there again." And he says, "Yeah, you're right." And basically, my boy Izuku, after he says, "Yeah, you're right," okay. He says, "Yeah, you're right." And after he says that, he leaves. He just leaves. And he says, "I want to start." He says, "I would like to start a family, but you don't want that, so we don't have to." And she's sad for Izuku. She wants to start a family with him, but she don't think it's time. But he says, "I'll just give it time." And basically, she smiles and says, "Thank you." And Izuku, I would say Izuku, Izuku basically just Izuku basically just he smiles and said he go to they called, I'm gonna say she was working, or she rich, or she's not rich, but she got some bread, and they go to she said, "I bought her some land," and Izuku said he said okay, and he says, "Can you take me?" And basically she says she takes me to the land, and basically Izuku says, we're gonna build a house," and he builds. She says, "Okay, can it be to my liking?" And he says, "Of course." And basically she's like, "Thank you." And she says, "You still have that?" She says, "You're still so nice after all they've done to you." And she says, "Of course, because you're here." He says, "Of course, because I have you." And basically Um, he says this, and basically she like, dang, he thinks of me a lot. And yeah, and basically we see, oh my god, hey, we see, well, we see going to the land. He builds the house, and after he builds the house, what is he shooting at? He builds the house, and he says it's just like your blueprints or whatever it is. Yeah, and basically he goes and he's like, they got freaking 3 acorns. Sorry. Basically he goes and he's like, yeah, and basically yeah, and I know what I said. After he builds the house, they go outside and she says, "We need some food, you know." And he smiles and says, "I'm already on it." And he goes and he creates some food, and basically he says, "What else do you want?" And she says, "What else?" He says, "What else would you like?" My boy, she made him get the manners. She says, "What else would you like?" Oh my god! He says, "What else would you like?" And she says, "That's all." And she says, "I would like a bedroom though." And she licks her lips, and he says, "Ooh." Well, he don't say ooh, but she says, "I would like a bedroom." And he says, "I'm already on that." He, boom, builds a bedroom, and he builds. Basically, he builds that bedroom, and he basically, my boy, he says, "That's the thing I like the most." And she smiles and said, "Of course you do." She says, "Of course you do, you freak." And he says, "That booty make me a freak though." And she laughs and said, "Of course it does." And he goes with her, he's like, he smacks it. He's like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." And she says, "Okay." She like, "If I die because of that," what do you say? And she says, "Oh my god." So he's aiming only for me. Sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry, you guys. And yeah. So we see Izuku. Basically Izuku, he's squishing them cheeks, and she says, "Are you just gonna play with them?" And he says, "Yeah, for now at least." And basically, we do a 3-year time skip. They're living peacefully They're living peacefully, like not bothering anyone. And what the fuck? Oh, okay. They're living peacefully, and Izuku says, "I still have an intention to be a hero." And she says, "Oh, okay." And he says, "But I'm gonna work in disguise, like a vigilante, like Batman." And she says, "So you're gonna be a vigilante?" And he says, "That's what you call it, yeah." And I'm gonna say, she desperately, she wants a kid right now. And Izuku, he's not focused on that, cause who's hitting me? He's not focused on that. And basically, Izuku, she says, "I want a kid though." Ooh, that was nice. She says, "I want a kid." Ooh. How? Wow, he came from nowhere. Oh, I thought I died. Okay, and she says, Izuku, and she says, I want a kid. And basically, he says, not right now, Shia. And she whispers, and she says, but it's something you like. And he says, okay. And she says, she whispers, I want a kid. And my boy Zuka says, and he says, I thought you were already pregnant. And she said, no. And he's like, oh, how many times I ejaculated and you should have. And he said, and she says, ooh, get him. Ooh. And my boy Zuku, he's like, he grabs the cheeks and he's like, 18 plusing. I have to mention that. He grabs the cheeks and he grabs the cheeks. He just started going ham. He brings it to the couch. He don't even bring it to the room. That's the thing. Cause like, yeah, he brings it to the couch. Yeah, he brings it to the couch. And who the freak is? And when he gets to the couch and he's like, oh my god. And he gets to the couch and he starts beating the cheeks. He ejaculates. And he says this to me. I'ma get you pregnant. Basically, but you do a 2-hour time skip. He's still going at it. And I said 2 hours. I think I said, yeah, she does it too. We do a 2-hour time skip and he's still going at it. And she's like, oh, that's good. And he ejaculates 17 times. Probably a little bit overboard, but hey. He ejaculates 17 times in her, and she's like, you definitely got me pregnant. I can feel the baby. And she says, I can feel it. And Izuku says, if I didn't get you pregnant, we would already go try again. And she blushes and he blushes. And she says, you're a freak. And he says, and he don't say anything. I'm saying he smacks the booty. And basically, and yeah. Ow, bro! He smacks the booty and he basically, he beat it up. Yeah. And basically, we do a 2-month time skip. And Izuku, he haven't started his hero job yet. And basically, or his hero vigilante job yet. And he gets it. He says, well, in these 9 months, he says, well, in these 9 months, I'm gonna be gone for a little bit to do my hero work. And she says, okay. I'm about to die. What'd I tell you? She's like, yeah, okay. She's like, okay. But she says, you have to promise me you'll be here when the baby's born. And she says, okay. And Izuku says, promise you. And basically my boy, be there. Ooh. He's gonna be there when the baby is born. But, yeah. So he starts his vigilante job, and basically Izuku, he basically, he goes to, we do a 9-month time skip, and basically my boy Izuku, his baby gets born, and he says, he's like, he's looked just like me, and he a teardrops of happiness, and he's like, that's my boy. And basically Izuku, or Shia says, it is. And basically, I can't run. And he's like, or she's like, it is. And basically Izuku, he, I get you the abilities while you're holding the bomb. Izuku, he's super happy. And Izuku, he's like, I can't get nowhere up. I think I have to go through the bridge. And no, I don't. Right here. And Izuku, he's like, bro! Wow! Sorry, Izuku. He's like, Izuku, he basically just, we did a 9-month time skip, and Izuku, he goes to where his baby is born. And he's like, I told you I'd be here, Shia. And she's like, I knew you'd be here, because if you wasn't, cut these hands. And basically, he says, so you really think you can honestly beat me up? And she said, oh no, I don't think I know. And Izuku, he's like, oh man. He says, should I keep conversation going? And all the argument going? And he says, oh yeah, you probably will. And basically, he's basically like, he's like, nah. And we skipped like an hour, and she went into labor, and and basically, after she went into labor, Izuku, wow, so close to the bomb. He had to sneak up on me, bro. Izuku, he basically, he gets the thing, and the doctor says, sir, you don't have to step outside for this. And he's like, okay. And basically Izuku, he says, why? This is my child. I should be able to see. He says, why? This is my child. I should be able to see him or her get born. And basically, he said, sorry, sir. You're gonna have to step outside. And Izuku, he says, I ain't stepping outside. And he says, sir, I don't want to have to call security. And he says, you're gonna call security for me trying to see my own son get born. And she says, Izuku, just step outside. And he steps outside, and he hears Shia screaming, and basically he thinks the doctor's beating her up, he thinks the doctor beating her up, and he opens the door. We don't open the door. He opens he kicks down the door. We don't open it. Kick it down. What the? He said, profanity part. He says, what the hell are you doing? And he said, he sees Shia giving birth. And he's like, sir, you can't be in here. And he said, oh, okay. And basically, yeah. Wow, bro. He said, so you can't be in here. And he leaves. He said, oh, I thought they were doing something else. And we do another 15 minute. I really don't know how long it take for a woman to give birth. So I'm going to say another hour time skip. And Shia, she give birth to Izuku. I mean, she give birth to, but I'm gonna name him Sashi. He gives birth to Sashi, and with the other a 4-year time skip, Izuku, he's providing for the family. Like, yeah, he's providing for the family. He's basically he's at work doing he's at work, and he's basically just like providing. Like I said from the jump, he's basically just providing, and basically she knows him providing, and his son is like Boruto. His son is like Boruto. And he's like, why is dad never home? Is he my real dad? And Sashi said, hi, or whatever her name is. She says, yeah, of course he's your real dad. And he's like, I don't think he is. And basically said, he's like, Izuku, he gets home and he says, hi son, I know I haven't been home a lot. He says, I know I haven't been home a lot, but I promise you I'll be home for the next 2 years. And basically he says, thank you. And I'm gonna say we're doing a 4-year time skip, and Izuku, he's still home. And I'm gonna say he gets enough money to like, he never has to work again. That's how much money he gets. And after he gets that enough money, he just provides. He just says, you can have anything you want. And they go to the store and they see they get anything that whatchamacallit wants. And yeah, I thought we were zombies. How did we lose? We were zombies. We had 3 that had 1. Sorry. Sorry. We'll do another 4-year time skip, and we're gonna say Izuku or whatchamacallit? What's his name? Sashi. He's basically just he basically just like, he lives in a nice house, he's rich, and I'm gonna say he sends UA. And Sashi's like, recording still going for a whole hour, dang. Okay, so Sasha, she's like, she says, Sashi, I don't think your father will be fine with you going to UA. And he says, what? Why? He went there. And he says he did, but he had a horrible life there. And he says, well, that's his life. Maybe mine would be different. And he says, Izuku walks in. I'm saying he's done. He just got done from the shower. And he says, so Sashi, where are you going for college? And he says, UA. And he says, Mom told me that you didn't want me to go to UA. And Sasha's like, she looked down and she says, or Izuku, he says, no, I'm fine with it. And Sasha looks up and says, what? You fine? And he says, yeah. He says, yeah, I'm fine with it. If that's where he wants to go, that's where he can go. And basically, he says, okay. Okay. And he says, if that's where he wants to go, he can go there. And basically, she says, I never thought you would be so nice. And he said, and she says, I'm not being nice. If that's where my son wants to go, I'm not gonna refuse. He can do anything he wants. And Izuku has a serious face on. He says, he looks at Sashi, but he says, tell me if any of the students bother you, as he smiles. And uh and Sasha says, "No, tell me." And Izuku says, "Why? You can just tell me, you know." And as he's looking at he's looking at her. He's looking at her and he's like, "Yeah." Oh man. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. And basically, we do a 2 month time skip, and he passed the UA exam. We're gonna say, Hajime or Izuku, Sashi gave, or Izuku, he passed on some quirks, and he did everything that Sashi could do, or Hajime could do, but they're like all 2 times better, cause like new generation, you know how Fire Force is, yeah, new generation. So yeah, basically, my boy Izuku, he's like, wow, this kid. He says, wow, you're really powerful, son. And he says, thanks, Dad. And basically, as she says, things that, he passed the UA exam or entrance exams. He got first on everything. And he says, you really are powerful, son. You got first on everything. I'm proud of you. And he says, thanks, Dad. And basically, Sashi, he says, Izuku, or what's that boy name? He said, Aizawa. He gives us some papers and he's like, he gives us some paper and he says, tomorrow. He says tomorrow. No, he says tomorrow is Parents' Day. He says bring your parent. And basically, Izuku, Sashi says, okay. And basically, Izuku, he basically, or Hashi, whatever his name is, Sashi, he says, okay. And they bring Izuku's parent. And we'll do a week time skip, or a daytime skip. And Izuku, he says, Dad, you have to come to UA with me. It's Bring Your Parents' Day. And he says, okay. He says, aren't you a little bit too old for that? And he says, no, Dad, just come on. And he says, all right. And that's what he says, all right. He says, all right. And basically, and yeah. And he's like, and he bring his parent, and Aizawa, he says, what? I would say Aizawa, he's suspecting that Izuku is Sashi's, he's suspecting that Sashi's dad is Izuku because like he has the exact same quirks in their eyes as Izuku. And Izuku, he says, Hajime, Hashi, he's been expecting this, so how the shoot! Why can't I shoot, bro? And basically, yeah, and he gets he breaks his parent, and he, like I said, he's always been suspecting, and he actually thinks that that's his son, and he says, nah, Sashi's a good kid. He wouldn't go after a villain. He wouldn't be a villain's child, and they think that he's a hero's child because like he's rich. And we see Izuku. Dang. we see Izuku. He comes to school with his son. Okay. He goes to he goes to Sashi. He goes to Sashi to school, and Aizawa says, "Stop there, villain!" And she said, Izuku said, or Sashi says, "What? My dad's not a villain." And he says, "Yes, he is. He killed All Might." And Sashi says, "Who's All Might? Huh?" And he says, "My dad can whoop the #1 hero. I can whoop the #1 hero." And Sashi said, Aizawa used to think that he's a hero's child. He says, "You kidnapped him, did you? And you, what's it called? You took over his mind." And he says, and Sashi says, "No, you didn't. He's my dad." And he says, "Sashi, stay back." And Izuku said, and he says, "I knew this would happen." Izuku says, "I knew this would happen." He's with there with Shia. And she says, "It's okay, Izuku. Let's come on." He says, "Let's just go." And basically, he's getting glared left and right. And Principal Nezu, he walks in. We're gonna say they're gonna tell, like, it's graduation day. That's why they bring their parents. And, to heroes. Or, they bring the parents to sign a contract with them. So, like, the parents give them money, and they donate to this. If they donate to the school, basically, the kids, they get a boost, or like a A, and they automatically get good grades, but they have to keep paying them. And he says, Nezu says this, and he says, some of the parents say, "Oh yeah, I want that." And some of the parents, they're heroes. And he says, he gets the Izuku, and he says, "Izuku Midoriya, you villain, why are you here?" And Izuku says, Sashi says, and Hajime or Izuku saying the monotone, he says, "My dad's not a villain." He says, "Say it again and I'll end your life." And Izuku says, "You should calm down. I don't want you to have the same lifestyle as me." And he says, "Yeah, you're right, Dad." And basically, he says, "You're right, Dad." And basically, we see Izuku, or we see Sashi. Sashi basically. Sorry. Sashi, everyone giving him glares and says, "What? He's the villain?" And basically Sashi, he's like, "No, I'm not a villain. My dad, he's a vigilante." And Hajime or Izuku smacks his head and says, he says, "When you're a vigilante, you're not supposed to tell anyone, son." And he said, "Oh, sorry, Dad." And he says, no problem." As he has a smirk on his face, he says, "Sorry, Dad." Or Hajime says, "No problem," with the smirk on his face. And ooh, that was nice. After he says this, Shia knows that my boy Deku, he's mad, and he's like, "Dang." And they all think that, oh, he's the one that is saving all the criminals and beating them up. And Izuku, oh my god, Izuku, he's like, they said, are you perhaps, some person wants to say, "Are you perhaps the one that they call the night demon?" He says, "Yeah." And everyone says, "Thank you for all your hard work, sir." And Izuku, he says, "No problem." And I think he says, "No problem." Hajime, or whatever his name is, Sashi's like, should I have told him that he's my dad? Now all the girls will be over me. I want to say, no homo. I want to say Izuku. Like, this all no homo. I say Izuku is fine. I'm like finer than ever. And all the girls are on him. And he's like, Oh, did I die? Oh, which the other girls are on him? And Sasha, she glares at them, and she kisses Izuku with tongue, and she says, "Oh, Izuku." And basically, Sasha says, Sasha, she says, Sasha says, Sasha says, "Oh," or Izuku says, "Oh." He kisses back, basically. It's not even an 18 plus scene, but he kisses back. And he grabs that waist, and Sashi says, "You really gonna do it right here in front of all these people?" All the people are staring at him. And I'm gonna say, he says, "No, son." And he says, I'm gonna say, Sashi, he says, "Man, you guys are a bunch of freaks. I'm surprised you don't have any more children." And, Hashi, he says, or, Izuku, he says, "Son, what do you mean? I'm not a freak." He says, "Your mom, on the other hand." Ooh. So about that, we're gonna act like nobody's seen that. Okay, we're gonna act like nobody's seen that thing. Okay. Yeah. And so basically, I don't even know how that happened. I just touched my phone once and it went there. I'm gonna say that basically, Izuku. Izuku, he's basically like Izuku. No homo, like I said, he's fine. And all the girls, they're on Sashi. And he's like, "Dad." He says, "Dad, why do you have to look so good?" He says, "Mom, you too. You made all the girls drool over me." And he says, "You two made all the girls drool over me." And he says, Izuku says, "That's a good thing, son." And he says, "No, it's not. Especially when you can't even go to class without a girl talking to you. Or you can't take a profanity part." He says, "Or you can't take a shit without the girl talking to you, or a piss. You can't do shit without a girl talking to you." And he says, "Oh, wow." And whatever her name is, Sasha says, "You better watch your mouth, young man." And he says, okay, I got you." Because he got that mouth from Sasha. And he got Izuku's personality. But that mouth is Sasha's. And we'll say Sasha, she hot mouth. And Izuku, he says, "Oh wow, you don't get on her backside." And basically, Sasha, he's like, "Yeah, you don't." See, that's what his son said. He says, "You don't." And he says, "Dad, what happens when you get on her backside?" And he says, "You don't want to know, son." And, "Oh, wow, I died." He says, "You don't want to know, son. I promise you." And basically, she goes and she says, "Yeah, you don't." And she smiles. And they get back to the conversation with Nezu. And they're like, they get to the conversation back with Nezu. And basically, Nezu, he's like, "Okay, after all that disruptions, let's get to, he says, let's get to our main topic." And he says, there will be a program where your son, or he says where your child will be able to perform in a talent contest, and whoever has the strongest script will be awarded the strongest UA student of the year. And Sashi, he looks at Sashi, he looks at Sashi looks at Izuku, and Sasha looks at Izuku, or looks at Sashi, and she says, no, I'm not. He says, you're not participating in that. You're not getting hurt. And Izuku, he looks at Sasha and says, what do you mean? He's gonna get first, definitely. And basically, she says, I don't care if he's getting first or not. I'm not letting my baby get hurt. And he says, Mom, you're too protective. And he said, Izuku was like, Izuku was like, no, Sashi said, or Sasha says, she don't say nothing. I'm gonna say, and yeah, and basically, my boy Izuku, he was like, it doesn't matter, son. I was totally protected with you at first, but now I've learned that you can protect yourself. And basically, Izuku, he's like, well, Sashi, he says, I know. Sorry, he says, I know, Dad. That's what I've been thinking. And we see, oh my God, what happened? Where am I? We see, Sashi. Oh, that's so clean. That's Super Saiyan here. We see Sashi, he's basically, he says, Mom, can I please go? And she says, no. She says, no. And Izuku says, yeah, son, you can go. He said, Dad, what about you? Can I go? And he said, yeah, son, you can go. I know you get first. And basically, Sasha, she says, no, you can't. And she looks at Izuku, and she says, can he go, Izuku? And she says, no, he says, no, son, I'm sorry, he can't. And basically, I'm gonna say, Deco, he had a telekinesis quirk, and basically, telekinesis, like, where you could, like, if you ever watch, I forgot his name, I think his name was Kenshin, off Mortal Kombat X. My boy? That's my boy. How he has that samurai sword, he talks to his son, and he's like, he talks to his son, and he's like, he says, with the telekinesis, Izuku talks to Sashi, and he says, you can go, son. Just, I'll keep your mother occupied. As he gets a grin on his face, and he says, Dad, you're a freak. How do you not have any more? He says, how do I not have any more siblings? And Izuku says, be quiet. And he says, you know what? Oh man. He don't say anything. And basically Izuku basically just he basically just, you know, yeah, and Izuku, he basically he's like, son, you can go. And he says, I'll keep your mother occupied. And gosh. And he's like, okay. And we skip a week. And they have the tournament, and basically Izuku, he's like, son, it's time for you to shine. And he says, okay, Dad. And I'm gonna say he gets first. He gets first, and basically, He get first. Sasha. Sasha gets called instead of Izuku. So Izuku, Izuku, he just, basically just, he gets, he basically just gets a, he basically, we do a 2 hours time skip. And Sasha, she already went to go pick up Sashi in the little tournament thing. And basically Sashi, he comes home, he gets with bruises, she picks him up with bruises. And she said, I swear I told you not to go, Janai. And she would say her ears and like Kushina, they start glowing. And basically Izuku, he says, baby, calm down, as he hugs her. And she like squirms. And when she squirms, she says, she squirms her legs together. And she says, I swear I told you to not take that boy to the concert, didn't I? And he says, baby, see what happened was, and he says, I told him not to go. Okay, listen, I told him not to go. And I said if he went, he would have to deal with your wrath. And Sashi, he's like, you're lying. And basically Izuku says, so you call me a liar? You know how them parents pull. He says, so you call me a liar? And Sasha looks at him. He says, are you? And he says, no, I'm not. And he says, well, there's your proof, Sasha. He went on his own. And basically Sasha, she says, you're right, Izuku. He did go on his own. And we see my boy Izuku, he's basically just Izuku, he just Sasha pulls out the belt, and Sasha, he's mad. He's like, I'm gonna get a whooping because of this man lying. and Sasha, he mad. He's like, but I didn't do it, I promise, Mom. And she says, and you accuse your father of lying? Pow, pow! Like, beat in his cheeks over and over. And he goes to, after we do a 2-minute time skip, and basically Izuku, he's like, well, Sashi says, I hate you, Dad. And he says, yeah, me too. And basically he says, no words. Well, he didn't say that. He says, it's gonna be alright. And he says, no, it's not. He says, my butt cheeks have turned purple because of you. And he says, I told you not to deal with the wrath of Sasha, but you still went anyway. Basically, Izuku, or Sasha, she's like, Sasha, she goes, well, Izuku says, well, I'm gonna go clap your mom really quick. And he says, ew, you disgusting, sick. He says, ew, you disgusting, freaky, man. He says, you disgusting, freaky, person of a father. And he says, well, that it is how we had you. And he says, I know about sex, Dad. I took sex ed already. And he says, oh, okay. And basically Izuku, he basically we get to Izuku 18 plus scene, 18 plus scene. My boy Izuku, he basically just like, he goes to Sasha's room and he says, baby, you wanna take a shower together? And she says, she smiles and says, yeah. Like in a friendly voice, she says, yeah. She's not thinking nothing of it. And basically, my boy Izuku, he get in the shower. Do 2 minute time skip. They get in the shower, and basically, I'm gonna say basically, they basically Izuku, he gets his ankle gets hard. And Sasha, she says, "Oh, is this what you wanted to do, huh?" And she puts, she in her mind she says that, and we see Izuku's we see Izuku, well, we see she bends over, like directly on his meat, like she's like her butt is on his meat, and I'm gonna say my boy he was like, oh my god, she really wants it. And he says, what if you, she says, he don't say nothing. I'm gonna say my boy Izuku, he says, oh, that fat booty. And he grips it. And she moans. I'm gonna say Sashi, he hears this and he says, he finna toilet them. He said, he knocks on the door. He said, dum. Mom, he says, hey mom, dad, can I go to the store really fast? And Izuku says, yeah. He says, well, can I have the car keys? And he says, he looks, I'm gonna say he telekinesis Sashi, and he says, if you do the profanity part, he says, if you knock on my damn door again, I'm gonna take my telekinesis quirk out of you. No, he says, I'm gonna remove all your quirks and whoop your ass with a belt. So yeah, he says, so that shit won't heal. And Sashi, he gets scared. He said, oh, okay. And he fumes out of there. And basically, after he fumes out of there, my boy, he says, I really don't want it. I'm not bothering them. He said, okay, I'm not bothering them anymore. And basically, oh my god. He said, I'm not bothering them anymore. And Sashi, and I already said 18 plus. So. And we see Izuku, he bends over. Oh my god, why did I say that? Sasha bends over, and basically, oh, they're my team. I'm an idiot. Sashi bends over. Sasha! Oh my god, bro, I just made it seem like, oh my god. Sasha bends over, and she's, after she bends over, this dude is Garbo. She bends over, and and he sticks it in, and she moans super loud. Sashi, he's about to leave the door. He says, my dad's going at it. And he says, well, that's how they made me. And he's like, man, they're really freaks. And basically, Sashi, he's like, Sashi, he's basically like, Sasha, she moans super loud, and he's just beating her up, and he says, ooh, man. He says, ooh. And basically Sasha, she's getting clapped. like really hard, and she tells Deco to go faster, and he goes. How did I die? Oh, okay. And Deco says, well, if he says you want to like that, he says expansion. His stuff goes to inches, and basically, she just like, and she says you really having. She says booty is getting bigger and bigger by the day, this month, by the day, and basically he goes to yeah, he goes to he just beating it up, and I want to say they've been doing it in the shower for a long time. And Izuku says, I'm gonna pull out so I can ejaculate, and she says, no, I want to feel 18 plus part, even though 18 plus. So she says, no, I want to feel your she says, no, I want to feel your hot, oh, your hot, steamy, semen, whatever, however you say it, in me. And he says, oh, okay. He says, okay. And he ejaculates in it. I'm gonna say she drops to the floor because he ejaculated like 3 times all over her. Her body's like warm. Ah, my heart. Her body is warm. Basically, Izuku, he's, well, not Izuku, Sasha, she's getting pounded. And he says, and she gets on her knees, she started giving my man, she sucked the nigga's soul. She sucked his soul. And he's like, ooh, he ejaculates in her mouth, and her mouth cheeks get big and bigger, and she says, she stalls it out, and she says that was a lot, and he says, well, he says, well, your head game is so good, it's gonna be a lot, and she smiles, and she says nothing. And yeah, she don't say nothing. And Izuku, he says, ooh, the way, and yeah, sorry for the pause. I'm playing something right now. And yeah, like I said, he's like, man, this girl has a good head game. I chose him right. And basically, Sashi, he never met his grandma or his grandpa. He thinks they're dead. And he gets down, and he said 2 hours time skip, and they've done, and Sashi, he's basically like, or whatever his name is, Izuku. Wow. Izuku, who's basically just, laying down with Sasha, basically, Sasha, like, you're so boring. And he says, he's like, he's like, you're warm too. And basically, what's her name? Whatchamacallit? Sashi, he walks in. Sashi walks in. And he's like, Sashi walks in. And he's like, he don't say nothing. Cause he already know what they've been doing. And yeah, he walks in. And basically, he, so I'm trying to focus on something right now. Yeah. And basically, he just, basically, Sashi, he gets, he says, he walks in the house and says, my parents are freaks. And he goes to Izuku's room, he knocks on the door. And Izuku, he's about to get up and Sasha says, no, stay here. And Izuku says, don't worry, I'll be back. And he says, okay. And she says, okay. And ooh, I'm finna die. Ah, man. He says, okay. And basically, when he says, okay, basically, we see Izuku. He's, or not Izuku. He says, what is it? What do you want, son? And Sashi says, I want to ask you, he says, I want to ask you a question. And Sashi says, or Izuku says, what is it? And he says, is my grandmother dead? And Izuku looks down and he says, no, she's not dead. Let's just say she's out of my life. And he says, what do you mean she's out of your life? What, she's out of your life. And she says, that's all you need to know. And basically, he says, okay. He says, he wants to dig deeper. And basically, he wants to dig deeper in this. Basically, we do a day time skip, and Sasha she goes to Sasha and she says, Mom, can you tell me about my grandmother? And she says, yeah, she's a nice, kind, caring woman. And he says, no, Izuku's mom. And she looks down and she says, oh, why do you want to know about her? And he says, well, she's my grandmother. And she says, well, I guess you deserve the right to know. She says, well, I guess you deserve to know. And Izuku, he basically, or Sasha, Sasha basically says, well, your father was basically abused and beaten by Sasha, by his mom, and basically his dad left him. And he said, oh, really? And she says, yeah. That's why he's always trying to be here for you and always trying to provide for you, because he never had this and he wanted you to have it. And Sasha says, or Izuku says, he comes back from work, from vigilante work, and basically he basically says, he basically just like, just let me see. He basically just, well, he just, uh, he doesn't do it. He comes back from work and he says, hey son, and he hugs him, and he says, hey dad, and he says, no, Izuku noticed something wrong. He says something wrong, and Sashi said, no, and Sashi thinks in his mind that Izuku didn't have a dad, and he's like, oh, that's messed up. Oh, thank you. And basically, Sashi, he's like, or not Sashi, but what's it? Izuku. He's like, you sure there's nothing wrong? You seem a bit, well, focused on something or thinking about something. And he says, yeah, I'm fine, Dad. Nothing's wrong. And Sashi says, or Hashi said, not Hashi, Izuku says, well, okay. And he goes to Sasha, he says, hey honey, I'm home. And she says, oh, she says, Izuku, I have to tell you something. And he says, what is it? And she says, she says, I told, she said, I told, she said, I told Hashi about your mother. And he says, why? Ooh, that's nice. And she says, because he wanted to know. And he says, he says, he wanted to know, and I thought it was time to tell him. And he says, well, what did he think? And basically, he thought it was, he thought it was messed up, and he wanted, he just thought that he was lucky to have a father. And she says, and he says, well, he is lucky to have a father. And what? And he's like, and sorry, I'm saying what because of the game. And we do another 2-month time skip, and we say that Izuku, Sashi, he has a girlfriend, and basically, it's not really much to add on to the story, but I'm gonna make some stuff up. I'm gonna say that Aizawa was planning on Izuku and his family this whole time, and basically, yeah. So, but they just plot, because I know y'all probably like, you just came out of this from the blue? I did just come out of this from the blue. So he says, he's like, Izuku is like, he's like, I feel like something's, actually, no, that don't happen. No, that'd be lame. I'm gonna think of something. So Sashi, he has him a girlfriend, and I'm gonna say this is Momo's daughter. Wow. I'm gonna say this is Momo's daughter. And basically Izuku, he's like, he doesn't know this is Momo's daughter. And he says, he don't say nothing. I would just say that he's like, basically, oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Basically, sorry. Basically, he says he goes to Momo's daughter. And he says, "Would you like to be my girlfriend?" And he says, and she says, "Yeah, Sashi-kun." And she said, yes, Sashi-kun. Sashi-kun. It just sounded, that sounded good, Sashi-kun. And yeah, and basically, she's basically, he says, well, I want you to meet my parents. And basically, she says, okay. And she says, that's right, your parents are those vigilantes people, aren't they? And she only knows that they're vigilantes. And he says, he says, well, yeah. And he says, and she says, yeah, I thought that. And basically, he's like, okay. And, yeah, and she says, okay. And he said, I don't want you to think of them as just vigilantes, or I don't want you to think of my dad as just a vigilante. He says, think of him as a inspiration. And she says, okay. And he goes to, wow. Okay, so he goes to Momo's daughter. Momo's daughter goes to what's his name? Momo's daughter go to his apartment. I mean, the house that they made, and he says, and she says, he says, this is a very nice house. And he says, yeah, my dad made it himself. And she says, wait, your dad has a creation court? And he says, sorta not. And he says, well, he says, sort of. And basically, he says he lost his eye in his arm, or his eye got gashed out. His arm got crushed, it shattered, and he couldn't fix it. So yeah, and it says his eye allows him to create stuff, and basically. He says, oh, okay. She says, okay. And they skip 15 minutes and they arrive at Izuku's house. And they arrive at Izuku's house. And she built up the courage to walk in there. And she says, Sashi, where's your room? And he says, the second room. Go down the hallway, and the second room to the left. And she says, okay. And oh, okay. Snuck up behind me. He said second room to the left, and she goes to second room to the left, and basically my boy Izuku, he sees a random girl. He says, who are you? And he points his gun at her. He says, get the hell out of my house. And she gets scared, and she said, and she freezes. And he says, what, did you not fucking hear me? Get out of my house. And basically, Izuku, he basically, or, not Izuku, but Sashi walks in there. He says, Dad, what are you doing? And he says, he says this random lady just walked in my. He says this random woman just walked in my house, and he says that. Sashi says, "That's my girlfriend," and he said, "Oh." He says, "Oh, well, son, you have to tell me when you get a girl." And he says, "Dad, I already told you this." And he says, "You did? When?" He says the time. He says like a week. He says a week ago. And he says, "But you know you're busy." He said, "You know what you were too busy doing." He says, "What I was too busy doing, man?" Clapping mom's cheeks. And basically he says, "Son, we have guests." And he says, "Nah, don't give me that. You're just too busy clapping some cheeks that you couldn't even understand what your own son was saying." And he says, "Well," he says, "This is the man's world." And yeah, basically Izuku. And yeah, basically Izuku. He basically just like, and wow, he stole my kill, freaking Chomper. Basically, Izuku basically just he basically just says, "Well, I'm gonna." He says, "Well, introduce me to her." And he says, her name is her name is he says her name is what should I name her? He says her name is May or Mai. May. Her name is May. He doesn't say the last name. And he's forgotten all about Momo, to be honest with you. And my Momo, she still love Izuku. Like, she still like love him. Like, she would cheat on her husband with him. And Izuku, he forgets about Momo. And I'm gonna say the husband left him and left her because they say she was trying to use her for money and got that money. She tried to put him on child support. And basically, she put him on child support and he left. Like, man. And we see Izuku here, not Izuku, but Momo. I mean, Izuku, Sasha walks in the room and he says, "Who is this?" And she says, "This is Sasha's girlfriend." And she says, "Her name is May." He says, "Her name is May." And he says, "Doesn't she look familiar?" And he says, "No, she doesn't." He says, you must be dreaming, baby." And Sasha says, what is his name? Oh my God, Sashi says, "Well, I'm off." And they go into their room. And let's say this is the first. He says, "Well, what would you like to do?" And he says, "I have Madden. You want to play Madden?" And she says, "I'm not a guy. I don't play video games." And he says, "Well, I don't know what girls do. What do you want to do?" And she says, "How about we watch a movie or read a book?" And he says, "Let's watch a movie," because he don't want to read no book. He watches. But boy, he puts on what movie does he put on? Oh, I already know. He puts on, what is it called? The movie where, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot it. Basically, nah, he puts on Blended. There it is. He puts on Blended. And basically uh, he's like, ooh, this ought to be a good movie. And she said, yeah, it is. I watched it before with my mom. And he says, oh, well, we can't watch it then. And he says, why not? And he says, well, you have already watched it. I don't, he says, well, you already watched it. We're not going to watch something that you already watched. And, and he says, okay. I have a question. If any of you guys know how to, never mind. As he goes he clicks on another movie. I forgot. I thought it was called 365 Days. Yeah, that's what it's called. He clicks on that movie, and basically, she watched this movie, but she ain't gonna say nothing because it's a good movie. If all my people out there who watched it, yeah, it's a real good movie. And basically, she's like, she does this look at that. She tells Sasha she says, I want to watch a movie with you. And he says, okay. They watch a movie. And my boy, after they watch a movie, they go to sleep. And Sashi and May, they're sitting there, cuddled up together watching a movie. I'm gonna say he's like on the backside of the bed, and he's on the front side. She's on the front side, and his let me see, cause I really don't want to get sexually. So basically, I'm gonna say Sashi has, like, basically her booty is pressing up against him, and he's like, oh man. And basically, my boy, he gets hard, and basically, I'm just saying, he gets hard, and basically, she says, what is that poking me? And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he hurry up. He like closes his legs, like put his legs together. And she says, she says, that doesn't feel too good. Could you stop that? And he says, well, she says, just stop it. And he don't. And she says, wait a second. Close your legs back up. And he closes his legs back up. And she says, no, bring them up. And she says, that's your jangling against it. And he said, no. And basically she said, oh, okay. And she moves closer. It's like she wants some. She moves closer. And he says, baby, we're not gonna do it on the first date. And she says, oh, alright. And she says, what are you talking about? Nah, she doesn't say that. She says, what are you talking about? Do it on our first date. He says, what do you mean? He says, I didn't say anything. And she said, yeah, you did. You just said that we're not gonna do it on our first date. And he says, baby, I promise you I didn't say anything. And she said, oh, this is so good. Feather falling. He says, wait, which one did I have at first? This trash. Oh my god, it's garbage. Give it back. And he's like, she says, what do you mean do it on our first date? And she says, you were thinking about having sex, weren't you? And he says, no. And she says, yeah, you were. And he says, well, it's not my fault. I'll get the freakiness from my dad and mom. And she says, okay, but I don't want to know that. She says, okay, I don't want to know that though. And he says, oh. Well, looks like you already know. And basically, she, and basically, she, he basically, spell break. No, it basically, she says, he says, I can't lie, he is a freak. He's supposed to have more kids anyway. I'm not understanding how he doesn't have any more kids. And she says, you're disgusting. And he says, got it from my dad. And basically, let's say they end their date off right there. They end their date off right there. And, ooh, nice. And, after they end their date off, she basically, or let's say she says, bye. Says my boy bye and everything. And he says, okay. And she bounced and basically, I might die. After she bounced, Mizuki goes in the room and he says, well, how was the first date? And he says, it was horrible because he says it was horrible. He says, why is that? He says, well, her booty cheeks was kind of laying on my jangling, and I got a boner, and basically, I said that we're not gonna do it on the first date. And she said she didn't know what I was talking about, and she thought about it, and she said, wait, are you talking about sex? And my boy, he said, yeah. And he said, you're disgusting, and she left. And Izuku, he's like, I really gotta teach you how to talk to a girl. And he says, shut up, Dad. He says, just saying, man. And, see, I want to say after that, Izuku, he goes back in the room. He says, well, hopefully you get another chance. Whoa, where did he come from? He must have stoned too. He says, hopefully you get another chance. And basically, he says, Dad, I'm getting another chance. There's no doubt about it. He says, okay, whatever you say, son. And we'll do a month time skip. And I would say they're like, everybody knows they're dating. And, like Izuku, Mei and Sashi, and she says, I want you and your family to meet my mom. And he says, Sashi says, he says, okay. And he goes to his dad, and he says, hey, Dad, he says, Dad, my girl wants us to meet her family. And she says, okay. He says, when is this gonna happen? And he says, I'm gonna say, he say, he says today, actually. And yeah, he says today, actually. And he says, well, I'll see if I can make some free space. And he says, bro! He says, okay. And he goes, oh, if I die here, I'm gonna be... Bro! He has aimbot! He has aimbot! Sorry. He goes to, what's the name's house? And Sasha, she's not there yet. So Sasha's in the car doing her eyeliner stuff. She's in the car doing her eyeliner stuff. And basically, Izuku, he walks in there and Mama says, Izuku, is that you? And Izuku says, do I know you? And she says, yeah, I'm Momo. And she says her last name. She says the last name. Oh, my head. And basically she says, yes, me why do it. And she says, yeah, it's Momo. Whoa. And he says, Momo, I heard that name before, but I really don't remember. And she says, I was your best friend in UA. And she says, I was your best friend in UA, but you just abandoned me. Or he says, but after they took you down to the ocean, I lost my contact with you. And he says, oh, well, yeah. He says, yeah, sorry about that, Momo. And Momo goes up to him. And she says, I haven't seen you in so long. And she goes up to him, she runs up to him, she kisses him. And Sasha walks in at the same time. And Sasha says, really, Izuku. And Izuku, he don't hear Sasha. He say, well, I got a girl, and I'm not gonna let this happen. And he says, I got a girl, and I'm not gonna let this happen. And he says, I got a girl, I'm not gonna let this happen. And Sasha, she's like, so you didn't hear me, huh? You just gonna walk into your son's house and kiss on his mom like that, huh? Izuku, after all we've been through. And Izuku, she's like, after all we've been through, Izuku, you just gonna cheat on me like this? And she's crying. And basically, he's crying, she's crying. And basically, they're my chips. She's crying, and basically she says, I hate you. I don't ever want you to, I don't ever want to come in contact with you again. And basically, she says, come on, Sashi. And she grabs him. And he says, and they run out the door, and Sashi says, sorry, Dad. And basically, Izuku, he's in shock of what just happened. He looks at Momo, and he said, this is all your fault. If you would have just erased those feelings you are. He thinks in a demonic tone. He said, if you would have just erased those feelings you had for me, this would have never happened. Now look what you did. You think my wife think I was cheating on her with you, a piece of garbage like you. And she says, I'm not garbage. And she says, yeah, you is. And basically, she tries to hit Izuku, and Izuku blocks the thing with one finger. And he says, do it again. And he says, I dare you to do it again. And basically, Izuku, she's like, Mama, she don't hit him. And she's like, that's what I thought. And basically, he runs out the door, and he sees Sasha. Getting in the car, crying. And he runs to Sasha and says, Sasha, it's not what it looked like. And he says, ask Robbie. I wasn't a part of that. And she says, no, you cheater. I don't ever want to see you again. And he says, ask Robbie. Please, Robbie, help me out here. And Robbie, he's like, Robbie says, it's true, Mom. And she says, shut up. It's just I never want to see you again, Izuku. She says, I never want to see you again, Izuku. And she says, I never want to see you again and don't come to the house. And if you do, she says if you do come to the house, I'm gonna kill you. And Izuku, she manipulates Izuku's bone, his legs, to get like super weak, or she breaks him and she says, I hate you, Izuku. How could you do this? Everything we've been through, I've been there for you, and you do this. And Izuku, he says, Momo, he says, no, just listen, please. And she says, shut up, just shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. And basically, we do a 2 times that Izuku's bones are healed. She ain't heal her bones. No, we do a week time heal, and Izuku's bones are healed because of the lizard quirk. And she basically just she's like, I'm gonna say she just she went to the house and she was, I'm gonna say she was super sad. But she wasn't depressed. She was like super sad. She was just eating ice cream 24/7. And yeah. And I'm gonna say that she went in the shower and she said, Izuku, and she said she went in the shower. Izuku, can you take a shower with me? And in her mind, Izuku says, I'm already here. Cause she misses Izuku, and she says in her mind, Izuku says, I'm already here. I'm already in the shower, and I'm waiting on you. And she gets in the shower, and she sees Izuku like memory fracture there, and she hugs him and says, yay, you're here already. And she falls through and hits the ground, and she says, oh yeah, oh God. And she said, she cheated on me, and she starts crying with me. And we say, Izuku knocks on the door, and she says, I'll be there, and she says, hold on, I'll be right there. And he says, I'll answer your mom, and she says, no, I got it. And basically, he answers the door, and she answered the door, and she basically said, what are you doing here, you cheater? And he says, Sasha, listen. Out of everything we've been through, you know that I can cheat on you and hurt you. Or do anything that will hurt you. And she says, well, you thought wrong. And she says, I thought that, but now it's different. And he says, I just asked Robbie, I didn't do it, please. And she says, no, he'll just lie for you. And she says, no, I'll activate my truth-seeking quirk, and if he does lie, he'll get turned into stone. And basically, he says, but I can bring him. He says, but I can bring him back. But it'll take a couple days. And she says, all right. She goes to Robbie, and she says, Robbie, is it true that Momo kissed your dad, and he's not cheating? And he's not cheating on me? And he says, yeah. He says, son, don't lie. I'm my truth-seeking quirk idol. And he says, okay. And he says, blah blah blah. Did whatchamacallit cheat on? Did you cheat? And he says, no, Mama kissed him first. And basically, and he pushed it off. And And yeah, and he said, he said, I already have a girlfriend. I don't, he says, I already have a girlfriend. There's no space in my heart for another one. And yeah, basically said that. I know. And basically, whatchamacallit, Izuku, or, what I say? Oh my god. Izuku, he basically, or Sasha, he doesn't turn to stone. So, and Sasha says, I don't believe it. No. And he says, Sasha, please. And she says, no, you're still lying. And he hugs her and says, I'm not lying, Sasha, please. And Sasha, she breaks the hug and she kisses Izuku on the lips. She kisses Izuku on the lips. And basically, I'm gonna say Izuku, she kisses her on the lips. And when she kisses him on the lips, basically, and he says, he licks his lip and he kisses, he breaks the kiss and he licks his lip and she kisses back and he pins her on the wall. He grabs her waist and and Sasha in my room on my wall and we have a whole room and Izuku says, oh sorry son. And he says, yeah, get out, you freaks. And Sasha says, she pulls out a belt from nowhere. Izuku's like, where did that belt come from? And she says, what did I tell you about saying that? And she says, he stutters so much he can't even get his sentence out. He pop him right in that leg. He fall right down. He says, listen, how would you fall? Tear his cheeks up. Basically, that's what happened. And basically, Sasha, she's like, yeah. And Izuku says, he hugs from behind. He says, I know we continue what we just had going on and take this to the bed. And my freaks out there, they already know what's gonna happen. But that's where I'm gonna end it off. Yeah. Oh yeah, and after this video, I'm gonna make another video of what the hero or the villain version.